The Chicago Cubs were already limping, literally limping into the postseason, and now things just got worse. Good day, everybody. Hope you all are having a great day. My name is Mike Jones. I'm the host of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button, that share button, and that subscribe button. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you're a visitor that continuously comes back to this channel, you're a part of the C3 family. That means you got to hit that like button, baby. And, of course, go ahead and hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any time we drop a new episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Remember, this is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Listen, let me tell y'all something. The Chicago Cubs were cruising to a 3-1 victory into the top of the ninth inning. Carson Kelly hit 2 home runs in this game, looking like they were going to take the series against the Nationals, and that all was going to be well, right? Wrong. Daniel Palencia comes into the ninth, gives up a home run immediately. It's 3-2. Then after that, gives up a couple of walks. Then after that, gives up the big home run to Josh Bell of all people, and then literally the Washington Nationals end up going up 6-3, and they end up pulling Daniel Palencia from the game, and the Chicago Cubs end up losing this game 6-3. My initial thoughts were to once again go to management and blame management and say, you know what, this is management's fault. Which, if anybody out there is taking that take, I don't disagree with you. I can't argue with you. I can't say that you're crazy or that you're not looking deep enough into things. But Daniel Palencia is injured, and to be quite honest with you, he hasn't looked good his last couple of starts. Like I said, it's not been the strikeout pitching. It's been more so trying to just get the outs however he can, kind of laboring out there. With that being said, I feel like he was on course for this to happen anyways. It's just unfortunate that all of these injuries that are happening to key important parts of the Chicago Cubs roster are happening literally the last month of the season, right as this team is trying to get their act together to try to head and make a postseason run. Now you move from the Chicago Cubs dropping 2 to the Washington Nationals. The Chicago Cubs are now 81-62 on the season, still hold the top wild card spot as of right now. But now you got to go and you got to play 3 against the Braves in Atlanta at Truist Park, where you don't play well as is. And like I said, the Chicago Cubs are going to try to handle the Atlanta Braves. I mean, like I said, I just don't really know what's going to happen, but we'll see Spencer Strider on Monday, and then you will see Cade Horton on Tuesday. And then also I'm sorry, Spencer Strider will be pitching for the Braves on Monday, and I think Michael Soroka might come back and try to pitch that game against the Braves. You also have Jameson Taillon, who is scheduled to make his next start also. And then, of course, you have Shota Imanaga pitching on Tuesday for the Chicago Cubs. And then on Wednesday, you have Cade Horton pitching, and he's going to be pitching up against Chris Sale. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, the Chicago Cubs have their work cut out for them. It does not get easier after that. After that, you got to go play Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay that is only under 500 by 1 game. Tampa Bay is coming to Wrigley Field to play the Chicago Cubs. Then after that, you do the Pirates, then the Reds, then the Mets, and then the Cardinals, and then it's done. So listen, man, Chicago Cubs got to figure this out. And Atlanta is a good place to figure it out. Atlanta is the scene of the crime where theoretically the Chicago Cubs season was lost a couple of years ago when Seiya Suzuki dropped that ball in right field. I expect Seiya Suzuki to make up for it. I expect Seiya Suzuki to do what he needs to do to right that wrong, and he has an opportunity because the Cubs need somebody. They need a hero. They need somebody to step up and to help right these wrongs and help this team gain some type of traction. Like, we're literally limping into the postseason. Newsflash to anybody out there that don't know, limping into the postseason isn't a good thing. It's not. I understand that Craig's whole motto has been, hey, get in the postseason, anything can happen. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have any type of momentum going into the postseason, guess what? You will lose quickly. You will be out of the postseason just as fast as you get in. So, I mean, I'm not expecting much from the Chicago Cubs in this postseason run. I don't expect them to get out the wild card, especially if they go up against somebody like San Diego. I mean, that's just my honest truth with you. I mean, who would you pitch? Who would you guys pitch in the postseason right as of right now? Who would you pitch in the postseason? I'm sure you're going Matthew Boyd first, Shota Imanaga second. That's two lefties. Or do you look to go Matthew Boyd, Cade Horton, then Shota Imanaga if you do have to go to a third game? I mean, that's asking a lot out of your team, out of your starters, out of your players. And then after that, you got to go play the Brewers next. So, I mean, like I said, this is not ideal for the Chicago Cubs right now. Not ideal at all. But they got to figure it out, man. They got to figure it out. Like I said, Palencia, it looks like he probably is going to end up missing some time. Craig Counsell said in his post-game presser that Daniel Palencia does look like he probably will end up missing some time. It's the outer band on his shoulder that seems to have the issue right now. His velocity level was down 1.1 points. Again, like I said, he just did not look like he had it out there, and it's unfortunate because we could have put somebody else in the game and probably still ended up with a win. But unfortunately, like I said, we left him in there and gave him enough rope to hang himself, and he did. And the Chicago Cubs end up losing this series and this game because of it. So but next up, we will talk about the other Cubs injuries and give you updates on those. Sorry. What? 1, 2, 1. I have been talking ad nauseum, and I still will continue to talk about the product, the brand that has changed my life and can change yours too. What's that product? It's Dubby. It's an all natural energy supplement that you can take on the daily to help you get through those urges, those moments when you want to nap, then when you hit the cliff, or if you had a long night the night before and need to get through another crazy day of the hustle and bustle, the 9 to 5, whatever you got going on. Dubby is your energy drink. That's right. Not to mention, when you buy a container of Dubby, it actually equals out to almost $1 per drink. You can mix it in with whatever you want, whether that be a juice, whether that be a water, whether that be some type of other energy flavored drink, whatever you want, you can mix Dubby with it and it will do the trick for you. Guys, I don't understand what you're waiting on. Dubby takes care of everything for you. All you have to do is go on to the Dubby website and place your order. And at this time, when you do that, all you have to do is put in Cubs Central Pod 2024. That's right, Cubs Central Pod 2024, and you get 10% off on your Dubby order. That's right. Hey, listen, guys, I'm telling you right now, Jitterless Energy. They have all different types of different flavors for you. Dubby has what you need. Be better with Dubby. The Chicago Cubs are still dealing with so many injuries. I've been outside of the Daniel Palencia injury. Kyle Tucker and PCA still are both injured, as well as Miguel Amaya, who is still injured also. The updates as of right now, Kyle Tucker will not play in Atlanta on Monday. Do not expect him in the lineup. He did not rule out seeing PCA in the lineup. PCA is just dealing more so with soreness right now, I think, with his injury. So like I said, I mean, it just kind of depends. He fouled that ball off pretty hard off of his leg, so off of his kneecap. Let's call it what it is. So I mean, that was a pretty sick foul ball that he hit. So I mean, just taking it day by day. Kyle Tucker, like I said, did some running drills before the game on Sunday. He is progressing towards making a return. They just want to make sure that they don't do something that could potentially end up injuring him further. I mean, what's done is done with Kyle Tucker as far as his contract negotiations and whatnot. Even though, like I said, the news reporters are reporting now that even though some said the Cubs had the best opportunity to re-sign Kyle Tucker, that he could potentially end up being a Los Angeles Dodger next season, which if that happens, that happens. They have all the money in the world to spend, and they're not afraid to spend it. This is exactly why we're headed towards a lockout, because the collective bargaining agreement and people wanting to put a salary cap on these salaries that these baseball teams are able to pay these players. So, hey, listen, at the end of the day, if they're willing to spend, if Dodgers willing to spend that money on Kyle Tucker just to keep winning World Series, who am I to say, hey, don't do it? They got all the money to spend, they should spend it. If they're willing to spend it, they should spend it. And who am I to tell Kyle Tucker not to go get your bread, and definitely have a lot easier of a load. It's basically candy, whatever you do in Los Angeles versus all the pressure being on you in Chicago. So, I mean, that just is what it is. And then last but not least, y'all, I with all these injuries coming up, you have to understand the next two series are really, really important for the Chicago Cubs. They will, again, face the Atlanta Braves, and then they will face the Tampa Bay Rays here in Chicago for a quick 3-game set over the weekend. The Chicago Cubs their pitchers have to be on point. Their pitchers, the room for error and the room for mistakes thins the more injuries we have. I almost kind of wish they would have left. Craig Counsell would have left Colin Ray in and let Colin Ray pitch the rest of that inning. He pulled him out after 5 1/3 inning. I almost kind of wish that he would have allowed him to pitch all the way through the 6th inning, and then pulled him, and then maybe went 2 for Teal-Bar, and then one for gosh, now I'm blanking. 2 for Teal-Bar, and then 1 for Brad Keller. Like I said, and then let Brad Keller finish it off. But again, I'm not the manager. We're not the manager, unfortunately. So we have to go with whatever Craig Counsell says. But my question to you is, who would you look at and say, okay, this person can be our closer. This person can handle things for us. And for me, I look at either Brad Keller, but more so Caleb Teal-Bar as being that missing piece that could maybe be handed the ball and do the closer job. Caleb Teal-Bar has 1 save on the season already. He does have an ERA of 2.12, 50 strikeouts, a 0.82 whip. Again, like I said, he is an older guy, but he has a lot of success in the majors, especially coming out of this bullpen role. So, like I said, I think that the Chicago Cubs definitely ought to look at in this next series, either looking at him or Brad Keller as being your closer, especially if Daniel Palencia is out any extended period of time. This is just what the Cubs are going to have to do. And again, like I said, you guys give me your thoughts. Who do you think ought to be the closer for the Chicago Cubs? And unfortunately, I'm sure it'll end up being closer by committee. If I know Craig Counsell, he'll do some stupid crap like that. So we'll just have to see what happens, man. But the Chicago Cubs are literally trying to limp their way into the postseason. They might get maybe 90, 92 wins now, but they were scheduled more so to get closer to 99 to 100 wins. So, like I said, these injuries just continuously keep costing them. But we'll see what happens. But listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to this episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. We're going to have another episode for you tomorrow after the Chicago Cubs finish up with the Atlanta Braves. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Until next time, go Cubs, go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.